There are some watches you should think about before buying, that you should take the time and consider. And then there are others that are just so good that you should simply buy first and ask questions later. So here's a list of 10 watches that you should, if you're thinking about them, just go straight out and buy. The last one really should be in everyone's collection. It seems tedious at best to include a Rolex in this selection, and I'll be the first to admit that a modern Rolex isn't for everyone. Well, maybe not for the remaining handful who don't already somehow own a Submariner. Bigger and shinier than ever before, modern Rolex has evolved beyond its simple roots to become a statement of conspicuous luxury, and that doesn't work for everyone. What does, however, is the Oyster Perpetual, one of the few remaining classic Rolex watches in the collection. It goes the furthest of all the models in not going anywhere at all. And that, for the stalwarts of tradition, is a good thing. So if the Oyster Perpetual has caught your eye, then there's little else out there that will scratch that itch. The only decision you need to make is size and colour. Entry into the high-end chronograph category is rarely cheap. Unbeknownst to many, a chronograph complication is actually one of the most complex to make. When the big pocket watch makers like Patek Philippe and Vacheron Constantin switched to wristwatches, they developed their own time-only calibers, but actually bought in their chronographs. There are cheap chronographs, of course, often utilizing Seiko quartz movements, so why not get your recorded elapsed times straight from the horse's mouth with the Seiko Prospex Speedtimer? It's not only universally sized at 39mm across, it's also far better looking than it has any right to be. I'm pretty certain there's a law where cheap watches have to look a bit off so as not to tread on the big boy's toes, but Seiko just didn't get the memo. For the £590 price, it's the best sports chronograph out there. If you're the kind of contrarian character that hears the notes that aren't being played, then a splashy number from Rolex like the Blue Dial Yachtmaster may be just a bit too mainstream. While you may need to be quick to get in with H. Moser before it gets too cool, for now it still sits in the niche enough to make the appropriately titled Pioneer Mega Cool the hipster collector's dream. But Andrew, you smooth-talking pin-up poster of a man, I hear you say, the Mega Cool is almost 43mm across. Yes, this watch is not small by traditional measurements, but as you well know, Moser doesn't play by the rules. A skinny bezel, the short lugs, and a steeply curved strap make sure the watch fits surprisingly well across a wide range of wrist sizes. And when the dial glimmers like a distant pulsar, you won't be thinking about size anyway. At this point, there will be some of you wondering if I'm on the Christopher Ward payroll. Unfortunately for me, I'm not. But fortunately for you, when I say the Christopher Ward 12 is a watch you should just go out and buy, like I did, I'm saying it because I'm genuinely hugely impressed. If you've got around $1,000 to spend, want an integrated design watch with class-leading quality, then, well, there's nowhere else to go, to be quite frank. As with the Speedtimer, the 12 absolutely nails styling and proportion in a way that feels far more expensive. And now there's a 36mm version too. You can get the perfect size for you. If POA labeling doesn't scare you off and it's a chronograph you want, then look no further than our Lange & Söhne's 1815 chronograph. Sure, it's priced like an executive saloon and takes to sporting activities like a duck to lava, but if you've got a hankering for the German brand's exquisite simplicity up front, business out back approach to watchmaking, you simply won't find yourself wanting for any more than this. Even with the outer tachymeter scale, Lange maintains a stoic clarity to the dial that's almost medical grade. That is, if health services had the budget for precious metals. The two offset subdials, a signature followed through from the up-down, are the subtlest flex imaginable. Turn it over and that's when all hell breaks loose. The caliber L951.5 is artisanal mechanical spaghetti, with all 306 parts executed to sickening perfection. If you buy it and don't like it, honestly, there's something wrong with you. Trust good old Grand Seiko to celebrate every season like it's 1999, and for the tourist magnet that is the springtime cherry blossoms of Tokyo, it was a natural wonder not to be missed. This is Shunbun, the spring equinox, and this being Grand Seiko, not just that. This is a celebration of the way the cherry blossom petals look when they cover the surface of a river. If that doesn't make you feel something, then I'm afraid you're dead. Grand Seiko's take on it has been so universally popular that Google is beginning to believe that the watch came first and the season was named after it. So even if you have hesitations over the 40mm titanium case or the caliber 9R65 spring drive movement, if the luscious pink dial has got your brain going overtime, there really is only one feasible outcome. The next watch you should just go out and get isn't one watch, it's a whole category of watches. I'm talking about the G-Shock, and you should stop thinking about whether you should have one and just have one. There's such a variety to choose from, and the prices, compared to what we've just been talking about so far especially, are just so dang good that chances are the amount of time you've spent thinking about it has already covered the cost. Me in particular, I should just go out and get the Urban Utility GBD-200UU-9ER. It reminds me a lot of me, one of the masses, recruited into a war I didn't sign up for, dodging lasers not meant for me and taking the fall for the big guy. Also, it's got a cool display with lines that go up and down. Can I be really boring and predictable for a moment? Because if you've even stopped for a second to think about buying a Black Bay 58, the answer is a resounding yes. Will it change your life? No. Will it be your favourite watch? Probably not. Will you come back to it time and time again like reruns of Seinfeld? You betcha. Some watches reinvent the wheel, and other watches trace over the wheel and change the logo. That's the Tudor Black Bay 58, and you know what? The wheel works, people. That's why we've been using the wheel for literal ages. Yes, we all resent the absence of the hovercars we were promised, but in the meantime, I simply can't think of anything better for the job. This is an easy one. Want a high-quality, well-finished watch that also looks like a robot and has glowing, radioactive eyes? There aren't too many routes to go down on that one, so if that's you, I can confidently and categorically recommend you simply add the Kopf watch by German Polosin to your collection. With all the subtlety of a landmine, it comes as a very unexpected delight to see that the watch exhibits a delicacy to its execution that makes you wonder if behind its bluff exterior is actually a deeply misunderstood machine. Don't let the intense glare and vice-like jaws fool you. This is one extraterrestrial space robot you should let into your life. If you've ever thought to yourself that you would quite like to be happier, then that's all the qualification you need to adopt the next watch into your collection. At £195, it does little to trouble your bank account, but in return for such a paltry sum, works wonders on your psyche. It is the Mr. Jones, a perfectly useless afternoon. In fact, this and many of the other Mr. Jones watches have been designed with one thing in mind. Not so much the time-telling, which in the A Perfectly Useless Afternoon has been relegated to a subsidiary function, but the provocation of emotion. This watch, and the others like it, are meant to make you feel something. Whether it's the bliss of a warm Sunday in the garden, the melancholy of the autumnal shift, or even the mutual joy of three robot pals smashing it at pinball. Don't overthink it, just feel it. What watch do you recommend everyone should just drop everything to go out and buy? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please do like and subscribe, and make sure to substitute milk for gravy on your next bowl of cereal. Goodbye. Still here? Watch this video next.